Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Loop Up webinar. Today's webinar is Step into the Future, Why Teams Phone is a Game Changer. This will be episode 1 of a 6-part series. My name is Lee Henderson. I'm the Director of Consulting for Loop Up Asia Pacific, and with me I have Mr. Zach Bennett.
Hello, I'm a Solutions Architect at LoopUp.
So Zach, thanks for joining me today. We've got a few things to discuss, and it's essentially what I think we'd like to start off with is really just having a quick look at why, well, first of all, what is Teams calling, and specifically, what's Teams calling Operator Connect? Because there's a couple of different flavors, right, Zach?
Yeah, so Teams calling comes in, like we say, a couple of different flavors. One of those being directly from Microsoft. This is calling plans. So that's something you can buy directly from them and assign to your users with a pool of minutes. Other flavors we have are direct routing. So these are direct routing that you can deploy yourself inside your organization. So you can buy and manage your own certified Teams SBCs. Another flavor as well is a direct routing as a service. So this is where you can go to the market and find a provider that already has their own network and their own certified SBCs. You can look to piggyback and work off them to get your Teams calling. And then lastly, we have Operator Connect, which I know we've probably done a couple of videos on in the past, but it's effectively an evolution of direct routing as a service. But it's a fully cloud version offered from Microsoft where they certify a number of partners to be able to deliver Teams calling on the Operator Connect program, and LoopUp being one of them.
Absolutely. Well, and also direct routing as a service and so on and so forth. And I think, the one really big thing we need to talk about, you mentioned there, because it's from Microsoft directly, it's in the Teams admin center. You can go into the admin center, you can find the list of providers that you need, you can tick through the countries that you want and say, I wish to work with this carrier. You could find, all right, well, in Australia, well, there's LoopUp, or, other carriers that are available. In the UK, well, there's LoopUp because, we're obviously there as well. I think in addition to that, one of the other places that they can find, you did a great video about this the other day on the website empowering.cloud.
Yeah. So they have a really great tool that they use where they effectively help you find your Operator Connect provider. So they have a series of reports on there. It's a free tool that you can go on and use and effectively choose your countries, that you want to have service in. Mm-hmm. And then it will give you a list of providers that are able to offer that service directly for you. And
they've got a bit more of their algorithm for matching the countries that you need access in is a little bit better. I don't want to say Microsoft haven't done it well. They've done it perfectly fine. But empowering.cloud is definitely, they've done it a bit more powerful.
Yeah. The big thing is in the Teams admin center, it will do an all search. So if you choose Australia and the UK, for example, it will show you all the providers that do either the UK or Australia, not necessarily both of those two together.
Yeah.
So one of the key benefits is, consolidating providers. So if you want to find, one provider to do them all, it's a real powerful tool to kind of search across providers.
So, I think from there we should probably pivot and talk about, well, okay, that's Operator Connect. Well, let's talk about what the benefits are of putting calling into the Microsoft ecosystem. For me, I think the real amazing benefits, if you're already using Teams, you already have access to a lot of this, but the deep interaction between your calls and the rest of M365, it's pretty powerful, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. one of the key benefits is, like you say, if you're already using Teams, you're already linked into that ecosystem. You're probably already using Teams for things like chat or meetings, for example, or maybe even some video conferencing rooms, that sort of thing. You're using all of that already in Teams, so it's a very next logical step to ditch your old PBX and bring that into Teams as well.
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, for me, some of the simplest things, and we'll get into this deeper into the series, but just integration between Outlook and your calling, right? So that you're, getting your voicemail linked into your Outlook, but you can also get it in Teams itself. There's so much stuff that's just available straight away just by accessing that existing system. And really, one of the big things for me is there's a lot of businesses out there that are using E5 because of the E5's compliance components for Teams especially. At a global level, they are extremely powerful and they can protect your business very well. If you've already got E5, you already have access to Teams calling. There's no add-on that you need to purchase. It's already there.
Yep.
It's just a matter of selecting a provider and getting some numbers in. So, yeah, if you're already on E5, it's as simple as going straight forward from there. And if you're not, the Teams Phone plugin or Teams Phone Standard is relatively inexpensive. At a global level, when you factor in all of the other expenses that your traditional PBXs or soft phone solutions may be, breaking down to, a per user price per month can be very attractive. Speaking of things at a global level, let's talk about who's going to get the most out of this webinar series. Sorry, go ahead.
One thing that we wanted to do with this particular webinar series is kind of hit across the board. So no matter at what point you're on your team's journey, or if you're just starting to look into Operator Connect, you're going to find something valuable throughout the episode lists. One key thing is decision makers. So if you're looking at a truly global level, how am I going to get calling into this particular hard region, or how am I going to serve this particularly difficult requirement, with Teams, or can I even do it? Hopefully there'll be a webinar series in here to help you out with that.
Absolutely. I'll take that another step. I would say that it's anyone who has to think at a strategic level about technology-based solutions. So, it might be at this stage that you haven't needed to think about telephony at a global level. It's been managed locally. But, let's say that your role in the business was to roll out M365, to replace your existing on-prem solutions and migrate to M365 at a global level. If that's the case, then you can do that with your calling as well. And you can have it all managed centrally. You can have, a single solution across the globe, and you can probably have you can definitely have a single provider, depending on the countries that you're in. And so, I think that there's definitely going to be some benefit for leaders at that sort of level. And also, if managing that sort of rollout isn't something that you've had to do before, then we're going to break down some not terribly deeply technical things, but just things to watch out for, things that you will be able to benefit from at a global level, like what your users will see, what your administrators will benefit from. There's a lot of stuff that is good to know at any leadership level. Based on that, I think we should probably break down what the series is going to be. We're going to do this as a weekly series. So next week, we're going to do episode 2, where we're going to break down the essentially, if you've got multiple solutions and multiple contracts and multiple maintenance teams around the world, what are the downsides of that? And on the flip side, what productivity benefits, what cost savings are you going to see from consolidating to a single global platform? And how that's going to benefit not just your the whole organization down to a local level. Like, what are people going to benefit from when all of this complexity is removed?
Yep. And then the week after that, we're going to be talking around some of the more complex scenarios that can come up when you're looking at Operator Connect rollout. So things like analog requirements, so fitting analog requirements to a truly cloud solution. Things like call flows, how does Teams handle that? Can you get a feature parity from your existing PBX? Things like receptionist scenarios, for example. What does Teams have to kind of combat that and help you out there? So effectively, that episode is going to be conquering that complexity to make sure that you have a smooth rollout for your Operator Connect.
And then episode 4, once you've figured out that complexity, we're going to dive into, all right, well, Teams calling seems complex, as does any phone system, but man, the tools that are built into Teams are so powerful. And they're powerful at an administrative level. They're powerful at a user level. It's just, if you've not seen how Teams can handle call flows and how users can fine-tune their experience on their own without having to go to a help desk, it's pretty exciting what it's able to do. I mean, I think it's really lovely, but then again, I am a Microsoft specialist. I'm always going to say it's lovely. And yeah, so talking about employees.
Yeah, and then we'll take one episode looking at, so once you've effectively found those pitfalls and then hopefully jumped over those pitfalls and been able to roll out with Teams, then it's going to be making sure that your employees or your users of the phone system itself, how are they trained, So we'll take a little look into how best we can look to do that, and how best it can be served to your users.
Absolutely. And finally, the very last episode, that'll be episode 6. That's going to be a fun one because you've probably heard the talk about Copilot. So Copilot is in Teams, is available to do all sorts of wonderful things in Teams and in M365 as a whole, but it's also going to be available in Teams calling. And we're going to dive into Teams and dive into Copilot, but then drill into, all right, well, what can it do with your phone calls and how is that going to benefit your business? So that's one that I'm really looking forward to. And I'm sure you probably all are as well. So yeah, tune in for the next part, where we're going to be, as we said, we're going to be dipping into the business benefits. If you'd like something else to consume in the meantime, or something else to read or watch in the meantime, feel free over on our resources page on the loopup.com website. You can find Zach's video where he explains the empowering.cloud selection tool, as well as our colleague, the head of consulting at LoopUp, Graham Cropley, has written an article which is a personal experience of his, talking about how it's been a wild ride for us. We've gone from 0 to 55 countries on Operator Connect in a very short space of time, and we now we have the most number of countries available in the world, and we're very, very proud, and we're hoping to grow that even further. So, yeah, Zach, thank you so much for joining me. A pleasure as always.
Thank you very much.
And thank you out there for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next week, and hopefully for the following weeks after that. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.
Cheers all.